What's going on, people? Got this box of shoes here to open up and talk about these real quick. So there should be 3 in here. They're not all for me. 2 of them are. Then one's going to be a gift for somebody else. And this is I think you can, if you've been around here before, you've bought any yourself, you can probably tell that this is an asics box. All right, so I guess we're starting with these. So there's the side of the box, right? Asics hybrid sandal stability. All right, actibreeze, whatever. So where are they? I just had them on. I don't know where I put them. I was wearing the actibreeze 3Ds, but I guess I took them off before I walked over here. But either way, it doesn't matter. I won't really need those until we do the actual review anyway. What does that say? On the inside, what's that? Powered by Lux Creo, right? So high performance 3D printing. I've never really heard of that brand. I mean, they may have done the last version. I honestly don't know. So either way, this is going to be it. Again, same thing, just the second version. Doesn't really say that, but it's basically the actibreeze 3D. Again, just slightly updated, right? So one of the things that they did, and I'll get into it in a second, but they have this whole removable thing. So I guess you can buy different insoles. I don't know if you want to call it an insole, but So either way, let's go ahead. It looks like those stick into place by using those little notches on the side, which lines up with right here. But I'm going to put these back in here real quick, and then we'll go on from there. If I can get those down in there, kind of, sort of. And there we go. So anyways, like I was saying, I'll use this one because that's what I'm more comfortable with. The actibreeze 3D 2, basically, right? Across the bottom, it is a different outsole than before because the last one didn't have any of this. It was just the 3D printed stuff. So it's basically that, but on the bottom. This time you have what is more in line with like an actual sole, right? At least as far as sandals and slides go. So there's that. And then looking at it from the side, you can kind of see it's going to be the same sort of thing there, minus these little slots on the piece here, because that's where that footbed sticks in. So there's that. And as far as any kind of like design, I did see a couple other ones of these on the asics website. That's where I got these straight from asics, like I just said moments ago. So they had a couple other colors, not very many, and none of them were like great in my opinion. But this one was like the closest one to something that I would care to have. So that's the one that I went with. And I didn't really even need another pair of slides, but I figured since I got the first one, it wouldn't be bad to like get this one and see, do they work out better than the previous ones do, do like somewhat of a follow-up in a way. So there's that going on, right? Moving on to the inside. It's going to be that same 3D printed thing for the most part, but this looks like it's, I don't know, it has a different sort of look to it. Looks like it's got a little more layering in there, right? The other one looked like it was a little more spaced out, which made for like a more cushiony sort of thing, almost to a point of where it's like kind of a problem because it just felt you were just like falling too deep into it. That's a personal thing though. A lot of people probably like that. So like I was saying a moment ago, right? You have this here little shell. So there's that for you, right? And this is like the actual 3D printed piece. So it's actually like very flimsy, which is probably a good thing. And getting in there, you can kind of see it's going to be the same sort of thing. It looks like just a bunch of plastic and everything like that. Now, I don't know how these are going to fit. I hope, actually, you know what? I was about to say, I hope they fit like the last ones, but now that I say that or think that, the last ones fit a little big and I was not thrilled about it. Because, it's one of those things where like they have the sizing chart and then the sizing chart says whatever size you should buy. These feel closer to in line with what I'm talking about. So this was a large, and does it have the sizes? Yeah, so that says 9.5 to 11. Maybe you can kind of see that in there. But the thing is, for me, lots of the times with stuff like that, like Prestos and things, I usually go with like a 9. So in some ways, maybe I should have went with the medium. Because these do feel pretty loose, right? Like my foot is going to slip in and out of here more than I would want it to. So I would say if you're like me as far as like sizing goes, because like I said, I'm a true to size 9.5. And buying these that fit 9.5 to 11, it's probably not the best idea, right? Because you have so much more room that they're supposed to fit into these. So I probably should have got the medium, but I didn't really think it through. So these will, I mean, I can always send them back and get a replacement or whatever. So that might actually have to happen. I don't want to deal with it. So I don't know, maybe I'll buy the other pair and then get those in and see how it all works out first. But either way, sizing wise, they got a chart on there. If you're at the bottom of whatever bracket, you might want to consider going to the bracket under that one. That's just my experience as of right now. But if you're in the middle or like the top, you're probably fine. Maybe, you know, the top might be, you might end up like I am right now. But if you're in the middle, you're probably pretty good. But these are also just have like a large build anyway. So I don't know what other ASICS slides fit like because I only have these and the version 1. So whatever. That is a problem for future Tristan, and I'll let him deal with that. We're going to move on to these right here. This is for me. So this is going to be the glideride Max. So actually, there were some other shoes I was supposed to bring over here, so I'll have to go grab those in a second. So this is one of ASICS' newer offerings. Man, these are really light. They look super cheap, honestly. Like if I just saw these, I'd think like, oh, that must be one of those Payless type shoes or something, because it just kind of has that look, honestly. But I like the color. I like the blue. So anyways, this right here, like I was saying, glideride Max, 9.5, all that good stuff. Digital Aqua and New Leaf. I think my light shows were also New Leaf, which is I guess would be the green. But either way, so the thing about these, kind of like the gel-kinsei Max, this is one of those plated shoes. So I guess, well, I'm not really sure. You can't really see it, I guess, but they do have the plate in there. I'm not sure what the material is or whatever. So much like the Kinsei Max, these may not be the best thing to wear overall, like if you're just like walking around in them. But I've heard good things as far as like the comfort goes from people in my running groups that have them. And also they brought the ASICS rep down for like the DMV area, DC, Maryland, Virginia. He was down here kind of giving me the ins and outs of these as far as like all the foam and whatnot. So it sounds promising, even though they kind of seem very similar to those Kinsei Maxes. So we'll figure that out later, see which ones I like more, and if this was even like necessary to buy. But I liked how those went so well that I was kind of intrigued with these. So we'll see how it works. Down across the bottom, got the same kind of outsole, very plain. Like, you know, ASICS has been doing a lot of that lately. And I saw the AHAR on the back somewhere. There it is. So that's just going to be for traction and durability over time, right? So kind of like the Continental rubber on the Ultra Boost and such. Midsole wise, it doesn't look as thick and chunky as some other things have looked in the past, which is nice because that's not a look that I really care for. Then on the inside, same sort of thing. It's just with this on the inside, you don't have as much color to break it up, so it looks like it's a little thicker. At least that's how it comes off to me. Upper wise, it's going to be that same sort of material that you're used to on a lot of things. It's more in line with, say, the Kayanos and stuff like that than it is the Kinseis. So if that's a thing that matters to you, now you know that. And moving back, same thing on the side as far as the logo is. It's just going to be some like little plasticky bits that are on there on both sides, same sort of thing. So behind that, you have a lot of the mesh and all that. And then on the back, you have a similar design to what you see on like the inside of the Kayanos and the Nimbuses, and I think the Novablast as well. So it just kind of has like a nice sort of like satin sheen sort of look going on there. Now that it's focusing, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. So I do like that look. It's just kind of cool. And this is probably 3M. It looks like it would be 3M. And again, this is the thing that I was kind of talking about, like just the way that looks with all the lines in there. It's a very cool look to me. And then ASICS down there on the inside, standard laces and whatnot. And this is one of those tongues that is, I believe, gusseted is the word. So it's going to be like kind of stitched down to the inside. You can kind of see that right there just a little bit. So it shouldn't move around on you too much. And you have this little piece on the front here for whatever. You can kind of tuck the laces in there, I guess, if you need to on the tongue. But all in all, it should be pretty good. These came in at 170. Yeah, 170. Because the Kinsei Maxes were 180, and these were just a little bit cheaper. I'm guessing maybe since they're not doing the gel, that makes them cheaper. Oh, these fit like perfect. So, and when I say perfect, I mean like there is no room to give, but like it doesn't feel small, right? It feels like this is just made for my foot. Like if I sat down and somebody like built a shoe just for me. Yeah, so true to size is working out great for me. If you're like a big-footed person, I don't know what it's like to be wide-footed or anything like that, but I hear that that's a thing. So you might have a problem, right? I don't know how much wider a wide foot is than a normal foot. I don't know. But either way, for me, which is what's important, they're working out just fine, true to size. So I do like that. I don't know when I'll be able to actually get these out on any kinds of tracks or whatever the case may be. Probably not a track, more so just like a running route. But hopefully soon. I mean, I need to do the review first, and I got some other ones I recorded already that I need to deal with. So this one will probably have to be after those, or actually not necessarily, because I bought these before those, and I like to upload my videos chronologically as far as how I bought them. So maybe these will get moved to the top of the list. Either way, it's not going to be any time like this week, maybe not even next week before I can like wear these. But I'm looking forward to it. So we'll see how that goes. But as far as the fit goes, true to size is working out right now. Not a whole lot of room. You can kind of tell it's somewhat of a more narrow build than like with the Kayanos and things like that, which were a little wider for like the extra stability. These are more like the Kinsei Maxes, which are made for like speed. So very cool. I do like that. Gives them a sleeker look, at least in my opinion. And I'll have to come back to like how it feels walking around with these with the plate in there, because the plate in the Kinsei Maxes kind of made me not want to recommend them for just normal wear. When you're walking around in those, you feel it. When you're standing around in those, you feel it. When you're running in those, you also feel it, but in a good way, because that's what they're made for, right? You just feel a little faster. But if you're just wearing them casually, it's not ideal. And these could be the same way. I don't know. I'll have to see about that later. And even I'm wondering how that would feel with what's that? The Metaspeed Edge and the Metaspeed Sky, because those are like made for like marathon type runs and things like that, I believe. And they have the plate in there, but I think the Sky has the plate higher and the Edge has the plate lower. So I wonder how that would feel like walking around in. I haven't tried either pair. I've never really had a reason to, honestly, but I'd be curious to, just for the sake of knowledge. So these aren't for me. What does that say? So these are for my aunt. They don't say on there, but this is a women's 11. So there's gonna be that for you, right? So, oh, yeah, I did say women. It's down here on the side, right there. So women's Novablast 4. Now I talked about the Novablast 3 twice because I have the Novablast 3 Trail and the Novablast 3 Standard, right? Not the biggest fan of them. They work out just fine, right? As far as running in them, no complaints. Just walking in them, wasn't huge into it. Maybe I'll go grab a pair of those as well real quick and do all the comparisons or something like that. But this is the 4. It's so far right now, it's looking a lot like the 3 did. The stitching pattern of the upper is a little bit different, but otherwise it seems very similar. So let's go ahead and jump onto the bottom here. Down there, outsole wise, that looks very familiar. I'll have to go grab that other pair in a second because now I'm curious. So there you go. Bring that in a little bit closer. Make sure this is kind of centered. So that's what's going on down there. And this doesn't have all like the little buzzwords on the bottom, but I assume that it'll be built in a similar way. One thing that I meant to mention with these, let me switch back to these for a second. There's no gel in here. The Kinsei Maxes are gel. These are foam. And the Asics guy was saying that like they changed kind of like the foam approach on here. So they're going to like compress in a different way that gives you like a little bit more of a boost as far as like stepping out of each step. So that's another improvement on these. That's the FF Blast Max is what they call that. So I guess that's going to be the upper layer, and the lower layer might be something else, kind of like how these Superblast 2s are. So getting back to this, right? Just got all the big foam down here, Flight Foam Blast Plus. I can't remember all the differences at this point because there's a lot of them, but I do like the little gradients going on in here, and I like the design is kind of cool too. So there is that. The stitching and all that, the way they did that looks more in line with like the kinseis and stuff, right? Not so open like you saw over here, which I do like this look more, though these will likely be more breathable. There's a good chance anyway, but I can't say for sure. And these aren't mine, so I won't even know. But you got that. You got a little bit of a layering thing going on in there. You kind of see like some lines on top of other lines and things going on here, right? So it's a very cool look, at least to me. So there's that. Then on the side, whereas the last pair I talked about had like little plastic bits laid on here for the logo, this is just stitching. So as you look in there, you'll see it's all just that. It's not really focusing a whole lot, but just take my word for it. And then moving on to the back, not a whole lot going on back there either. So yeah, there's not a whole lot going on with these in general, honestly. And then on the front there, laces standard wise, got a little bit of this kind of a tealish green thing going on at the front. And this is, I'm pretty sure this is like the same type of tongue they had on the last one. Very thin, but it feels nice. I do like it. And a little asics logo going on the inside. Now, I can't say how these are going to fit because obviously this is a women's shoe and it's not even like a size that would translate to my size, which actually, is it? No, because I think asics is one size. So an 11 in women's would be a 10 in men's. I would need a 9.5. If this was an 11 in Nike women's, then it would be a 9.5 men's, right? But this isn't a Nike shoe now, is it? So either way, they look all right. I saw this color. It was like one of the few that was not sold out. Well, this size was sold out, or this look was sold out in most other sizes. But this size, you know, is probably one of the last few out there. And I'm like, I'm really liking that one. So I went with it, and we'll see. It's a gift from my aunt, so maybe she'll like it too. Feel like it's a decent color. I got her something very different last time, kind of like it was a Nimbus 2025. So I'm gonna go grab the, I'm gonna go grab the Kinsei Max, the Superblast 2, and a Novablast 3 real quick. Be back in just a second here. So the one thing I forgot to grab was the actibreeze 3D, but honestly, I don't even really like those a whole lot, so I don't really care to do that comparison anyway. So I'm gonna set these right here. I'll come back to those in a second. So this right here is the Kinsei Max that I was kind of comparing with the novablast. I mean, not the novablast, the glideride. Right, so both of these have a similar sort of design as far as like being plated shoes. It's just that this one, obviously the difference being like you got gel, whereas this one's going to be just all foam. And I get that this looks a lot like some of their other gel shoes because they have the gel on the inside, but I'm just saying it's a foam shoe. So they're both going to be plated, like kind of a slimmer build. This one looks like a little bit more so in some angles here. So they should be built for some pretty good speed. These should be. So I'm looking forward to like breaking them out. But again, they're both very similar approaches to things. So I'm going to figure out if this was a necessary purchase or not. I mean, worst case scenario, they'll probably perform as well as the other ones, right? And not be like worth having bought. But I can't see them being worse. If anything, I'm leaning towards them hopefully being better, right? But to me, like this is my current favorite running shoe, the Kinsei Max. And I just don't think that these are going to top them, you know? But I don't have anything to base that on, really. I just am saying that because I like them so much that I just, in my mind, I'm like, nothing's going to be better than these, you know? Now, the Novablast 3. Okay, well, so this is the Novablast 4 on top. This is the Novablast 3 on bottom. So as you see, it's kind of like a similar sort of look, right? The 3 down here with the green, you got that design more so in the midsole than you do on the 4. On the 4, it's mostly towards the back. And then one thing I was saying about like the look itself, stitching pattern wise, they're both very similar as far as how they're made. The only real difference just being how they decided to do the stitching and stuff. So it's kind of like how you look at different Ultra Boost models over the first 5 iterations, something like that. It's the same sort of thing. So whatever you got with the 3, you'll probably get a slightly better version with the 4, right? Weight is pretty close, and these, again, a 9.5 men's, 11 women's, pretty close to the same as far as like dimensions go. This would technically be like a half size up for a men's size, right? If you do the conversion. But yeah, they look very, very similar. I would say like these might be a little thinner, but I'm not sure. It could just be the look of them. But the thing is, I didn't really care for wearing the Novablast 3 as far as just like normal wear. So I'm not going to buy my own pair. So the closest I'll ever do to any sort of review on the Novablast 4 is likely to be her pair. And it won't be an on-foot thing or anything like that. So if you want to know how those work out, well, you're going to have to watch something else because I won't ever have that answer for you. and my aunt isn't like a running person. Just got them for her to wear casually. So take that, do whatever you want to with it. But yeah, overall still, you know, I do like a lot of the things ASICS has been doing. It's been working out fine for me. It's been working out fine for a lot of people that I know. Brooks is also like holding pretty strong out there in the running world, at least like locally around here. Let's see. Do you have a workout channel? No, like I see no reason to have a workout channel personally. Like to me, and this is just my own personal opinion, right? Just put it out there, whatever you do, and just say like, yeah, do this on Mondays and this on Tuesdays and so on and so forth. And then you have your 7 videos and that should cover it, right? Like I wouldn't think you would need like a whole channel because like, I mean, I get you can get out there and you can check in with the fans and like, hey, look at how much better I look nowadays or whatever. But most people just need to know what to do, and I don't think you need a whole channel for that. Personal opinion, of course, yours may vary. Long story short, no. This is a Roosevelt shirt, and it is of the Killer Clowns from Outer Space universe. I don't remember the exact name of this, but it's cotton candy colored, and I'm a huge fan of that. I also hear cotton candy doesn't get wet until it's in your mouth. Anybody heard about that? Either way, so this right here, I saw it. I thought about it. I was like, yeah, you know what? I'm going to pick that shirt up. And then I went to go pick that shirt up, and it was sold out. And I was like, well, that's not great. So now I have it because they did a restock. So basically you have like a lot of little drawings, kind of like that Batman schematic shirt that I have. Kind of has that same sort of box. It's all like little sketches and such. So there you go. There's that. And this did come with a sticker. It's that one right there. There you go. Let's drop this thing back in here. It's a little congested in here. I went for a run earlier tonight. It was, let's see, 3.1 miles. And that's kind of me solidifying my thoughts on the Superblast 2s, which I forgot to talk about. So this, a bike riding a shirt, because he has legs and can do that apparently. So this is going to be, oh, this is the Gremlins shirt. So turn that around a little bit. So basically you have like a bunch of gremlins in there. I mean, if you've seen the movie, you kind of know what I'm getting at, right? It's nothing amazing, but I saw it and I don't know, it's bring back some good memories. Got all of them. Got the little naked guy in there somewhere, right? Saw him a little bit ago. Yeah, there he is. Because he had like the coat all spread out, right? See, yeah, you might think it's the bat guy at first. Nope, not at all. So there's that one. And then there's another bag here, which should be the same sort of thing. Where did I put that knife, though? There we go. So let's go ahead and open this thing up real quick. See what's going on in here. It's going to be more shirts, obviously. So this, okay, I don't know. These are the two other Killer Klowns shirts from outer space, of course, as it says right there. Some of the people out there might remember that logo. So this is another one, right? So it's just kind of like purple and got all the guys on there. I saw this one at first and I was like, I don't think that's really for me. But I ended up buying it just because I was on the website buying other things and I thought, sure, whatever. But the thing is now I'm looking at it and I like this shirt a lot more than I liked it when I saw the pictures online. So that's working out actually like a lot better. And they even sent me the right sizes this time. If you saw that Batman video last week, you know, maybe you remember how that played out. But that those shirts did arrive back at their little factory today. So my replacements should be coming my way real soon. And then the last one out of here, and then I'll close things off with the Superblast 2s and the little asics recap. Let's see. Let's all go to the lobby bar, right? There's that. And this one, again, another Killer Clown shirt. I don't know what this one was called. Don't really remember at all. Honestly, if it was multiple choice, I still would probably get it wrong. So it just has like a lot of spaceships and stun guns and weapons and stuff. So it's just the accessories shirt, more or less, is what you could look at this as. But let's flip that around here, and there's on the tag there, you got the Killer Clown dude. So they probably all have the same one. I don't know. Didn't really pay that much of attention to it. Didn't seem to matter that much to me. I'm honestly just trying to get through these so I can go on to bed. I just wanted to get this out of the way so that way I can get these opened up and hopefully maybe take some pictures tomorrow to prep for whenever the review does happen. Asics Superblast 2. This is what's hot in the streets right now by a lot of people's standards. I did a 10K on Saturday, and after that, somebody was like, hey, are those the Superblast 2s? Like, how do those feel? And so then I gave him the verbal review, right? So these right here, they come in at $200. They're actually like really nice. I was not sure if I really wanted them at first, but because it was a look that just didn't seem like for me. Because again, like this whole thick, chunky thing, I'm still trying to come around to it. But I picked them up because why not, right? And so now I've run around with them for a bit after listening to all these people talking about them for a while. And I will say this, they are very nice, like very, very nice. Here it is. I'm still leaning towards these for my overall preference, the Kinsei Max, not going to take anything away from them. These, you got and I'm not going to get all deep into it. The bottom layer, the white layer, and then the upper layer, the pink layer, different types of material, right? It's kind of like the Pegasus 35 Turbo, I think is what that one was, where it had the same sort of thing going on. And even some of the other React shoes that I saw in the past had that. So it's got the two things down there, and it works really nicely to give you some extra cushion. The one thing that I'm not a huge fan of is it's not the most stable thing. Like I hit some curves the other day, and I was like kind of like coming up off the street, so kind of vaulting back up onto the sidewalk. And if you don't hit it right, like because these have so much give under them, it's not a very stable landing, whereas something like this didn't have that problem. So almost like broke my ankle in half or something the other day, which wouldn't have been great because, had that 10K coming up. Either way, past that, running around in them, they feel really good. I've got no complaints. They're super light, super breathable. When I say light, I'm talking like weight-wise. Breathable all throughout here because like I showed in the review, like you can kind of see down there, you got like all the light shining through, right, all throughout and everything like that. So that's very nice as well. And impact-wise, like the impact under there, it's like nothing. It's crazy, right? Like I put these on and I was running around to like my car or something, and you truly feel like you're just running on clouds with these things, which is a thing that's said a lot, but this was like very true, right? And then because the upper is so thin and light, you kind of don't feel like you have anything on your feet at all. And it was just like, it's just a weird feeling in a way, you know, it's really good. And so then running through like the different races and stuff, everything feels good from the back of the heel to the front of the toe. Nice fluid movement. I got no complaints about it. It's just that overall, I felt faster wearing these, and part of that could be a mental thing. I'm not gonna like pretend that's not a possibility, but these are also built more for speed. Now, if you're running like a little bit longer, and so maybe like when I'm doing more than 4 miles, I guess, right? Like, you know, you might be like a little slower in the beginning because maybe you're gonna save something for later. So this is good for that, because if you're making those short strides, you're not going to feel that impact as much as you would with something like this. And then still, like later on when you want to pick it up, these will be there for you because they're good for that too, right? Got that like rocker sort of back, so like if you open up the stride a bit, you're still going to be moving smooth and solid right through everything. So very cool. All in all, short version, very, very nice. I can see why a lot of people were talking these up. I can see why they get all those high marks on the asics review section of like this website or whatever. But for me personally, because you know, when I'm running, if I'm looking for like speed or something, I'm still leaning towards these, right? Longer races, no problem. 5Ks and such, probably gonna want the Kinseis. So hopefully that's helpful to somebody who made it this far into the video, which is probably like nobody, honestly. But that's it for me. I'm going to wrap this thing up. From me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, wherever you are. I'm going to move on with my night, hopefully knock out some reviews. Well, even if I do, like the ones that I recorded, you won't see later until way later. So hopefully I'll have some actual content coming within the next 2 weeks. But I don't know. I've got like no like desire to like put in a whole bunch of effort to making that happen because there's no reason to. So they will be out whenever they are out. Take that or leave it. Later, people.